If I die in the country, bury me in a shallow grave, rest my bones under a pile of stones, and tell my mama I've been saved. And if I die in the country, tell them the Lord took me home. And don't let them know the devil came slow and ate the skin right off my bones.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Shrimp City Report, Charleston's finest father and son podcast, and probably the only one. Today I'm joined by DJ. How you doing?
Doing good.
Right on. We have a guest on today. It's one of the ones that we had early in the Shrimp City Report history. Second or third person we ever had, Don Merckle, the musician's on. How are you doing, Don?
I'm doing great, Devin. Thanks for having me back. Love your podcast. I've been telling everybody about it. I hope it's going well for you guys.
It is. It's been a pleasure. We've grown almost, Devin Jr. It's almost a little hard to handle with the response that we've gotten. So
scheduling has definitely been interesting. Yeah.
I have a few friends with podcasts, and they're the same thing. Scheduling is always the biggest issue.
Yeah.
Cancellations or whatever. It's just kind of a bigger thing.
Yeah, we need to do it like the South Carolina Podcast Festival and everyone go compare notes. Well, let's talk about, we wanted to have you on because you have a new record out and it's been getting some very nice reviews. We'll talk about those, some notes on some of the reviews that I have read. Donald, you want to tell us about the record, Same Devil, New Skin, right?
Yeah, it's called Same Devil, New Skin. It came out in September 20th, end of September, close to the end of September. It's doing pretty good. Like you said, we got some nice reviews. Still feel like it's late in the season. I wasn't really able to tour as much as I wanted to in support of it, but hopefully we can build a little bit of momentum to next year. But I've been happy with the reception so far. Like I said, got some good reviews. It's fun, man. I mean, it's putting out an album. It's part stress, part really kind of fun. Like, it's kind of awesome, just getting it out there.
It seems like there's a lot of coordination. I guess most pedestrians would consider that it's one task. It's going into the studio and recording the album. But I mean, what else is involved with putting a record out of any sort?
Well, nowadays, obviously, it's getting your songs uploaded to streaming services, which is a big deal. I'm part of BMI, so you want to register your songs, copyright your songs with BMI or ASCAP. I've been a member of BMI for a long time, so it's a lot of registering your songs and then a lot of putting them, depending which service you use on the streaming services. I use TuneCore.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And that involved, I'm sorry?
We just said,
Oh, sorry. It just involves a lot of data input. It takes a long time to put everything in and making sure it's correct. And so it doesn't get messed up. And when they finally do release it. And so there's a lot of data input on my part to just get it into a position to when it can be released digitally, as far as releasing it goes. And then, of course, there's promotions. And so I've gathered a list of magazines, online sites, whatever. And then I did hire a publicist to help me out too. So they kind of threw a bunch of stuff out at people, and just to let everybody know, I guess, basically, that you have an album out, and please take a listen.
How in depth or how far out does the marketing life cycle go when talking about releasing a new record?
So this is a before and after, right? So most places that review albums, that listen to albums, they want 6 to 8 weeks sort of minimum. So I tried to put all my information, get all my mailers and everything out, 2 months before the album.
Mm-hmm.
And then afterwards, it's like, it starts off, quote unquote hot, meaning as soon as it's out, that's when you get the most replies or get the most response. And then after a few months, maybe that sort of trickles in responses. Things get out there for a little bit. So starting 2 months before the album release, and then afterwards, it kind of just depends. it can be 2 or 3 months afterwards, kind of trying to hit it hard, and then just kind of wait and see. Because a lot of times it just takes a long time sometimes for some places to get to your album and listen to it, because everybody's doing it. Everybody's sending stuff out to people. And so, it helps have a publicist to help you, because apparently publications listen to them first before the actual artist who's trying to get their stuff.
Yeah, and if they have that relationship, I guess it's kind of like if you using a booker to get your gigs and whatnot.
Exactly right.
How important is touring, playing out in support of a new record?
It's really important. It's how most people get I'm pretty, it's just me for the most part. I don't have a lot of people working for me. So that's important to me to get to the people, to give them opportunity to hear the songs and, buy the album or go find the album. It's as important as it's always been. It's getting yourself out there, getting the name out there, getting the music out there. And I still think the best way to do it is to hit the road and actually play for people. It's also more fun.
Yeah, I know. I hear you. I guess also, I've gone to concerts before and hadn't never seen the person and been moved to buy that record on the spot. So I can see how that would be helpful. And word of mouth and stuff. Personally, I think a lot of us now in the age of Spotify, and if you don't like a song after 18 seconds, you can go check out 45,000 other ones,
But I also think just touring lets people know that you're working, and lets people know that you're a working artist and you're a working musician. And I don't know, I think people respect that or that feel, it reaches them in some way. They can relate to it, because everybody works at something, but they see you doing it and they want to support what you're doing, assuming they like you, and being there in their town, playing for them. I think it means something to people.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is legit. Like, you are out there. You're not just, in the basement pumping out all this stuff. And frankly, people have taken notice. You've gotten some very favorable reviews, like Americana Highways. I saw that. Yeah. They were really digging, like, the arrangements, the work that went into the songs, I hate to say composing, but frankly, composing it. Well, hell, they ended up comparing it to, poetic style. So what's it feel like when someone is reviewing your work? They may gush like that or either note something that you hadn't thought about.
It feels great. I guess it's sort of it, and I think it helps other people. I hope who listen to it as well. They hear them say something nice about it, something great about it, and that would, in theory and hope, get other people to listen to it. So yeah, it feels great, and it's good for me for promotional purposes, because I can use it like to promote and to market. And like you're saying, so you heard it, you saw it, and maybe, I'm on your podcast now. I might be on someone else's podcast, and because maybe they heard it or saw it and listened to it. And so it feels good, number one. And number two, it helps keep it going. It helps get gigs. It helps get another review. It helps get, anything down the road.
Absolutely.
Marketing is so huge, and I'm just not really good at it, but whatever little bit I can get, whatever nice things I can get someone to say, I'm going to promote that.
Let's talk about a few of the details of the actual record. Tell us what the title is all about. I know there's a single on there, but what's the title? Same Devil, New Skin.
I'm the worst at describing what my songs mean or what they're about. But a lot of the songs on the album reference the devil being sort of an avatar for all sorts of things. It's a great writing tool. And you can portray the devil in lots of different ways, and has been portrayed in lots of different ways. That be, evilly misunderstood. You can use the devil in a lot of different ways. Thematically, you can use it a lot of different ways in literature and poems and whatever. So it just feels like there's a lot of different ways to represent the devil, who is basically, in my opinion, just an avatar for the human being. Flawed in some way or misunderstood, or all of everything you can possibly think of. Excellent. So it's just a good avatar to create. Yeah, just to create.
Yeah. Yeah, and that devil, it does have new skin, because in your songs, what I've seen is multiple themes in a lot of them, and I guess there is that kind of.
Well, that particular song is actually, have you ever read much Cormac McCarthy?
Yeah.
Well, have you read Blood Meridian?
No, I haven't read that. Last one I read was The Road, right? Didn't you do
Yeah,
that?
that's a good
Yeah.
one. I read that one
Cool.
too.
Yeah.
Well, that same Devil New Skin is essentially the story of Blood Meridian,
Okay.
the novel, which is another reason why, and a lot of maybe why that some people have caught on to what we were saying earlier. They were talking about the themes.
Yeah. And Fervor Coulee noted your underground cinema inspiration.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
part of it too. But that particular song has a lot of themes about the devil and about good and evil and everything. It's a very interesting book. It's supposed to be unfilmable, but I think they're trying to film it because it's so violent. Basically, it's a Western. The book itself. It's a very, very dark Western. Anyway, that particular novel, that song came from that novel, essentially. I just rewrote
cool.
The novel in song form.
So you produced the record with Evan Simmons and Zach Thomas.
Yep.
How long did it take y'all?
It took us to record. It took us maybe a couple months. And then with mastering and mixing and mastering, that was another 2-3 months. Altogether, maybe 6 months. But I spent about 1.5 years writing the album first. And then about a month or two before we started recording, I got together with Evan and Zach to do some pre-production. And I think we talked about this last time, too, how important pre-production is, at least to me. And we used that time to map out where we wanted to go with the songs, what kind of instrumentation we were looking at, who we wanted to play on it, what we wanted to say, and how we wanted to feel. What's the vibe? What's the atmosphere? Atmosphere was a really big deal. And so we thought a lot about what kind of atmosphere. And I went into this with these songs in my head. The sort of impetus for this was I wanted to write a bunch of songs that could be the soundtrack to a long lost folk horror film recently discovered. So that sort of gave me the jumping off point of kind of where I wanted to go with the music. And I wanted it to sound like the soundtrack to made up films, essentially.
Yeah, I could see that. This is the most elementary way I can say what it sounds like. There's a lot of instruments in it. It really is. There's more than I thought there would be. It's more complex than an Americana record. Even if I don't even know if you care for that moniker, but I was surprised because, just Cabin in the Woods is a very interesting song. It almost sounds like a Nick Cave song to me.
Yeah.
Monsters in the Hills, that's pretty damn weird. So it's, I love it. I hate to say that every band or every person it evokes for me, but that reminded me like a swan song. But then again, same Devil New Skin, classic Western kind of sound to me.
It's Disco Blood Meridian is what I called that. Monster in the Hills was Blade Runner meets Run Through the Jungle.
Okay. Dude, that works, man. That works. Die in the Country, I like that because it's pretty, it's fast paced. It's kind of cowpunky. Die in the Country, Ballad of a Dead Man. Those are kind of what they say or what the title represents.
Yeah, well, Die in the Country is supposed to be, it was written as sort of an anti-gospel, and it has an A and a B part. The A part is essentially the protagonist saying everything's going to be okay, like, hey, everything's fine, but then the B part, he's telling the truth about what's really going on. The B part is, oh, it's not really okay, and the A part is he's putting on a good face, and the B part, he's telling you what's really happening. And so it was supposed to be a dark gospel, I guess. And I would call it anti-gospel. Ballad of Dead Man is a revenge song.
Okay.
At its core. And they all have cinematic elements on purpose. And they're supposed to move, and they're supposed to create atmosphere. It's supposed to create a vibe. The horns, like I really wanted them to be, I think what we say, we wanted like an undead mariachi kind of feel.
Yeah, you captured it on that.
Yeah.
Well, we had
real specific ideas like for these songs, and I know it sounds like a lot of different stuff is going on, but there are through lines, and everything was done for a reason. And the reason for me, like I love making a record for me, and I'm old school, kind of like you are, I think, where you go on a journey through this album, and this album has all these ups and downs, and in each song, in my opinion, the way we did it, each song grows from the previous song. The previous song makes the next song that much more important or that much more of a big deal. And so by the end, hopefully, you've gone on this journey. Now, Also, what I was trying to do was make each song individual as they could be so that you could listen to them individually and still get some kind of, enjoyment out of it.
Okay.
So it's all, I don't know, it might be high concept. I don't know, maybe too high concept.
I don't know.
A lot went into it. That's what I'm saying. A lot of thought went into how to make this album.
It almost sounds like you had an art director there, like you were making a film or something. I know you're into videos because you've had some good ones for your other songs, but it does sound like that there was a lot of heavy front loading that went into this.
There was. You're right. You're absolutely right. And I went into it with Zach and Evan and from the get-go and said I wanted this to be cinematic. I wanted it to feel like a ride. I wanted it to feel like a movie. I wanted it to feel like a very specific journey. And I had all these ideas and I sort of threw them at them and they took those ideas. I think we talked about this before also and made them even better. So that's why I like working for them so much because they really sort of understood the assignment from the get-go and were able to expand upon it in a way that was awesome. That's why I love working with them.
Well, we appreciate you coming by. So to get your record done, you did crowdfunding, didn't you? How did that work?
Yeah. So I went through a site called Indiegogo, which is basically, I used it before. For my last couple albums, I used it. And I already had some money saved up, but I used Indiegogo to help sort of the post-production work. And basically, it's a site where it sort of set up the service and they can use it to go out to, I don't know, your email list, or you can create an email list. And people can donate, or what they're buying, they're pre-buying the album. You can do that. You can also, any other sort of services you want to go along with that. There's acoustic shows, there's stickers, t-shirts, like you can there's different levels of what you can donate into or whatever to buy into. So you're always getting something. It's not money for nothing. It's not gift giving, but it is sort of like pre-buying or pre-getting all this stuff by, ahead of time, and so I can make the album and make all the stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. That sounds like a good way to get going with that. I was just curious to see how, and the response, I guess, was pretty good.
It's pretty good. Again, I'm not the best marketer, but I was able to get enough to do what I needed to do. And that was really the important thing. And I mean, it's really helpful. If you're really good at it, I know people who've $30,000, that much. And mine wasn't even close to that. But my point is they had a team of helping them. And you can do that too.
Yep.
There are people out there you can hire to help you do this sort of thing, these crowdfunding.
I guess so, yeah.
Managers. I did not have one of those people, but I was still able to generate enough to get the job done. And very grateful to everybody who participated. And it's worked for me so far. And I recommend anybody, if you can, maybe give it a shot. It might help you out.
Okay, cool. So where can we find your record?
Well, the best way is come to a show. Go to my website, donmerckle.com. It's MERCKLE. There'll be news. There's not an order system yet, but I'm creating a page where you can order the album. The local record shops will have the vinyl because we have it on vinyl. Local record shops here in Charleston, Gray Cat, that's one of them. And there's one in Columbia as well. The name is escaping me. But the best way, like I said, is to come to a show or just go to my website and I will have a store set up pretty soon where you can just order it or just email me. I'll send one to you.
Okay. We'll go with donmerckle.com. We'll definitely share it in the show notes. Keep us up to date on when your next shows are. I've already seen the invite on Facebook. So, all right, everybody. Thanks for coming and listening with our friend Don. Thanks again to Don, and bye, y'all.
Ragged town, headed west, never settled down. A cruel test, a willing pain. A Leonid gunner with a hammer down. Snake bit devil walking ghost town. Wayfaring hurricane. Through many a dark and dusty mile, black and hard, worried smile. No prophecy can shake his faith. better than the rest. A lesson learned, a lesson kept close to the vest across the plain. Captain White, he made his play. Ride with me, I'll get you paid. You can make a mark upon this world. But Captain White, he could not win. Lost his pistols, lost his skin. A savage lesson he deserved. The kid was shackled to the rest, while thieves and bandits did their best to recollect on their last meal. Cause he possessed another plan with a lie, some sleight of hand. He acquiesced and took the deal. Well, the road to hell is paved. Those who lost their way in the bones of violent men. Words can mean most anything. For the wrong ones you may swing. Same devil, new skin. The devil himself is a surprise, tall as death, strong as his lies, a judgment from another world. Rambling declamations, maniac observations, murder and ministry a swirl. Just outside of Tucson, judge, he tried the new song, but thought it fit some other man. So the judge did what he does best. Twist the knife, pound the chest, a demon sticking to the plan. The kid, he ain't a killer, not like they all consider, despite all the violence he had done. Though he could not follow through, left him all to choose the devil, the barrel of a gun. The pale light in the distance, western edge of blood and time. It goes on forever, they Colorado, judge, he had no mercy with the fire in his words. A flight of the desert, a pilgrimage of terror, an undiscovered world. Every town is shattered mile, every face a thinner smile, every step heavier than the one before. All the madness in these lands, all the blood on these hands, the ground is thirsty for more. Do the dance they say, find some other way to cheat the grave and live again. When that starry night, judge, he held him tight, same devil, new skin. Like riders on the plain, a few last will remain to face the storm that's moving in. Never sleep, never die, never bleed, never cry, never see the sun again. Every day I fight the war, every night I settle the score. Same devil, new skin.